What is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub. With our powers combined, we need Couriers.
So, JJ Wang, I forgot to tell you this pre-show. I saw Santa today.
Already?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
I saw this guy, and my son and I were greeting at church, and I saw his mustache. I went out to have conversation, and he gave me his card. He's like a professional Santa. I was like, yeah, never too early in March. But speaking of Santa and gifts and Christmas, if you are listening to us, I am sporting more Miami Dolphins gear than usual. Got my hat on, got my Tua jersey. It is like Christmas in Miami this week. I was thinking prior to the show, I was like, usually I'm just pandering because I'm a dumb Dolphins fan. This week, it feels good. Even non-Dolphin fans feel a little good for my Dolphins this week.
So you know what I feel like right now?
What's that?
I feel about like I did 3 years ago. Odell Beckham just goes to the Browns. Baker Mayfield just coming off of his a legit rookie season. Everybody's all in on the Browns. Just this is their year, and what happened? I mean, they just flopped. I don't want to rain on your parade.
But,
I know
but
you're.
Miami's in Florida, not
I
in
know.
Ohio. So that's the big
Oh, that's the
difference
big.
from the
I mean,
Cleveland Guardians fan. But it's been a wild week. We're even going to say, hey, before we get started, hit us up on the website, fanscarriers.wixsite.com. Us website. We're everywhere you want to hear us. Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcast, anywhere you get it. We pop up everywhere. Facebook has our podcast embedded. If you want to be really lazy on your cell phone, rock it on, just listen, share it, pass it. Got anything you want us to talk about? Hit us up. But it's yeah, I'm 100% with you on what you're saying there. And I got a good buddy that I talked to this morning. We are talking about it, and I said, you know what? It feels good. Sometimes after I realized that we've played in two, maybe three playoff games since I've been an adult, which is I realized I was like, man, I'm getting old, and I've only seen like two or three playoff games for my favorite team. Sometimes you got to take wins when you can get them.
I mean,
So
don't get me wrong. I'd be excited right now. I mean, if I was, if this was the old me from like 92, was it back in school in like 94, 95 when I was a huge Cowboy fan, and
yep.
I loved it when this kind of stuff happened. But that's not me anymore. So I love that you're happy here. You're gonna enjoy it. And like you said, you gotta take these wins when you can get them. And
And I
stuff
just
like
pulled,
stuff like this doesn't happen in the NFL very often. So
huh? It's been a wild world.
when things like this happen, enjoy it. This is what makes it fun.
I just pulled off. You saw it. I pulled off in one of our leagues, just the league where I'm just sort of ho-humming around, just playing with for poops and grins. I now have Tua in every one of my teams. So when he sinks, I'm doomed. But I traded him. I traded him for what's his name out of Philadelphia, who I think has a shorter shelf life than Tua will anyway.
Yeah,
But it
talk
was
about
like
Hurts.
home hurts there. Yeah, hurts. Thank you. I was brain farting. Yeah. So
Yeah, honestly, they could all both they both play their
putter
way
out at the
right
same
out of
time.
the league next year. It's not. It would
Yeah.
surprise me, but you know, I mean, I don't know if I wanted to root for him or not.
Oh, you
But
you you are, or else well, actually, I have a feeling you're gonna hate him. You are gonna despise, that competition we have as guys that I hate the 49ers because my brother's a big 49ers fan. And if I have a close friend and they got a sports team, for some reason, I want my team to be better and I start disliking them. So like if you were still big into the Cowboys, I would dislike them a little bit just for that competitive nature that the competitive banter we have as guys. I
like
think it's a natural
like
thing.
the only thing that's really holding me back from actually like thinking isn't going to work is just the offense that's coming. That the offenses that coming. I'm just confident in this style offense, the Shanahan offense, the run first offense. Honestly, everybody's excited about not Jameson Williams, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and all these pass receivers, but I don't think it's going to be a run heavy team, right? They're going to run a lot more, and
I
with
thought so. I
I
I
mean,
I I really thought so, and now I have no clue what they're going to do. I think what this does is, in the grand scheme, it gives them the it gives them options they didn't have before, that they will do something similar to what. I mean, you got to realize last year Debo Samuel was the number two receiver,
yeah, you're
and
right. He was the number two receiver, but where did all those other receivers fall in at?
but then you got to figure Waddle is probably going to get the Kittle share. Gesicki is so. Let's get into
Somebody's,
this trade
some,
real quick.
I don't think, what was there? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so the trade really is a result of the Devontae Adams trade
Oh,
and
yeah.
us paying $50 million a year for a quarterback. So you go all the way back to Kansas City. They're paying for the next decade $50 million a year for Mahomes. When you do that for a quarterback, you don't have money for anything else. And then Tyreek Hill sees Devontae Adams get that monster deal, and he's like, "Hey guys, I want a monster deal." And they're like, "Oh, there's no way this is going to happen." So they trade him for 2022 first, second, fourth, plus fifth and sixth rounder in 2023, and the Dolphins signed him to $120 million contract for he's 29, right?
27.
20, is he younger than? Am I getting? Wow, I'm
Yeah,
getting ahead of
he's
myself.
getting ready to turn 28. He's
There we
27.
go. Getting ready to turn 28. Okay, and
I
so
mean,
wow, yeah,
he's right there in the, this is the prime Tyreek Hill, age you want right here. I mean,
yeah, just turned 28 March 1st.
he's had a lot of prime years. I don't want to say, but I mean,
He's just prime.
I mean, he's in the middle of it, but it's just the thing. Are they going to pass enough to, make it effective? I mean, I think Hill was effective because Mahomes was able to run around and scramble and throw the ball 70 yards down the field across his body to the other side of the field. Tua can't do that kind of stuff. So I
He,
mean, that's a lot of Tyreek Hill's game right there. I'm not saying that's his only thing, but that's a lot
his
of his.
other game is those short to
You're right.
intermediates. When you get him full speed on the slant, like what did I see? He got out 21.5, 21.9 miles per hour, fastest player last year. And that's what a lot of the 49ers scheme that McDaniels is bringing in is going to be. It's going to be him doing a
Do
slant
that
and
again.
then getting pummeled. And then getting pummeled by a linebacker. I don't know, but the speed will be, and that's what they're looking at because then they'll have Waddle. But I do think the biggest I bet you they're probably now looking, going, maybe we shouldn't have paid Gesicki $10 million, or they're going, hey, we got him for 1 year for 10 mil. He's gone next year because we're not going to pay him 15, $20 million like he thinks he's going to get on the open market. But
But I
it's
mean,
exciting
you're not paying the quarterback a lot, so you can afford to pay all these guys.
for 2 years.
I mean, this is the time when you're not paying your quarterback. This is the time you can give all those other guys their money, their contract. Because once you sign that quarterback, I mean, this is, but
It's
then again,
done.
I don't see Miami re-signing Tua to a big deal. So they're going to get to have to bring in another rookie and that you start all over again. So I mean, they may not be paying for a quarterback for a long time.
I mean, they're also hedged because what they have is this year, in my opinion, is Tua's make it or break it year.
Oh yeah,
Next year, the Dolphins have 2 first-round picks. So
yep.
if Tua flounders with a stud left tackle, a good tight end, 3 decent receivers in a backfield that should be vastly better, especially with a fullback, baby. Then I
Yeah.
love the fullback. They're right after tight ends, man. Those little just grungy players. Then they're gonna be like, okay, dude, we're gonna go out and draft a quarterback. And I think that's total. That's I believe that's how they're posturing. They're not saying it out loud. McDaniel's like, I love Tua, then go with it. But so yeah, you all don't want to hear about the Dolphins. If you want to hear that, go to dolphinstalk.com podcast I was listening to on the way here. But there is fallout from this in that Kansas City, their receivers they have a ton of number 2 wide receivers right now. So
Oh yeah.
they
Oh yeah.
had hard
I don't know if they got a ton of number two wide receivers. I think they got one number
you do.
two and maybe a couple number three.
Okay, yeah, okay. Fantasy number 6s. So yeah, so they still have Hardman, who was supposedly drafted to be Tyreek's replacement when he was supposed to be suspended the other year, but then he ended up
Aren't
just
they
hurting his
all?
collarbone. That's
The
who
next
didn't see that
Tyreek
coming.
Hill, the next Tyreek Hill replacement. They all
Yeah,
are.
or like the next Jordan Kobe,
Yeah.
But then they signed Juju to the deal. I believe that we talked about it last week, did we? Or not? Or was that
I,
I forget.
I'm not really sure,
But
man.
they signed Juju to a deal. Then this week they signed MBS to a deal. So they got a field stretcher and MBS, field stretcher and Hardman, and then Juju would be the slot. So they're not as terrible as, let's say, Green Bay at wide receiver, but they got some work to do. And poor Travis Kelce's going to have 8 defenders on him every single play, which means that, hey, these 3 schmucks could have amazing years.
I mean, he's 33 years old, man. How much longer do you think that guy's got?
I hope at least 2 years the way I'm posturing one of my dynasty teams, because that's when our rebuild starts.
But yeah, I mean, MVS goes from the deep threat in Green Bay you're not going to get a much better quarterback than you're going to have in Aaron Rodgers, and he just wasn't
Yeah.
all that. He seemed to have a bunch of drops, right?
Yeah. Well, he drops the ball like no tomorrow, but so
Yes,
does
I mean it's.
Homeboy in
I mean
Baltimore.
you're not going to get much better ball placement than you're going to get with Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-mm.
So, and as far as McCall, whatever, I mean Hardman it is what Hardman is, I guess. And Juju's the interesting thing here. I mean,
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, he's got a legit. I mean, like I say, he didn't have a legit quarterback before, but we had Roethlisberger on the
In the
downside of his
later years,
career. I mean, it's kind of I mean, it was tough, but I mean, this guy Mahomes likes to sling it. He can run around, freestyle a little bit, get open. Receivers a little more time to get open. So I mean, might be a make or break a year for Juju, right? I mean,
I think it is. Yeah. I thought last year was when he played well and was
he
good.
needs to prove something. I feel
Mhm.
like, if he wants to continue being, I don't want to say relevant. Yeah, being relevant. Yeah.
Well, the dude's stinking young. He's deceptively young. I want to say, is Juju 24?
Yeah, he's been in the league like 9 years. Like coming in the league when he's like 16 or something.
He just turned
Yeah.
this is his year 25 year. I turned 26 in November, but he's a youngster. But I got one last question about my Fins, then we'll roll through these last free agents. Two questions actually. Tyreek Hill, where does he fall in the wide receivers? He's still a top 10, right? Where would you place him in top 10? Is he still where he is? Or is he falling?
I'm thinking he's a back end wide receiver one, like just like in that
You're just gonna hate.
Devontae Adams slot, that 7 to 12 area.
Who's the wide receiver one in the NFL?
I guess Jefferson, I guess maybe
Is Cup?
Jamar Chase, Cooper Cup. I mean,
Cup will slip, I think, with having Robinson. They'll both be really good, though.
but I mean, like I said, these guys are taking a big dip in quarterback play. They're not going to get as many passes probably thrown to them. So I think it's even bigger for Tyreek Hill because he's a boomer bust guy, man. You always look at Tyreek Hill; it's either 30 points or it's 3 points. Is Tua going to be able to provide those 30-point games? And
I don't think they'll be 30-point games.
And maybe
I think he'll be in the
upgrade
middle.
those 3 to 5-point games to maybe like 12 or 13-point games, but maybe his 30-point games are down to like 20-point games.
I
But
100%. I think
I
that's
mean,
what
maybe he's more even, but I don't know. I mean, you're paying him a lot of money. You want him to be that. You want him to be that guy. You don't want him. You pay him to be like number one wide receiver in the league here. I just don't think he's going to
Tyreek's like, I have my ring. Now let's get my bag of cash. And that's how that.
Oh yeah, go for it. I ain't mad at it. Go get your money, bro.
Hey, with those weapons and decent scat backs, is Tua? You know the question.
No.
You don't have him as a top 12 quarterback.
Probably not. I think they're going to run too much. Garoppolo is not a top 12 quarterback, and I just think they're going to. I think they're going to run like to protect him. They call Tua the left-handed Garoppolo. Is that what they? That's what
I heard that earlier. I like it better when someone was comparing him to Steve Young with a couple passes, but I can't take.
Yeah, that's of course you would have.
But Steve Young was pretty terrible his first year at the Buccaneers. So what can I say?
Well, he was pretty terrible for a while. I mean, he didn't get his starting gig for a long time. I mean, like that, I'm not giving up on Tua, but like he's got to show something. But I think you're missing the biggest re-signing the Dolphins had. Is re-signing my boy Preston Williams to another year.
So hey, practice squad bound.
Maybe this might be his year. Just maybe.
Well, that is on that front. That needs that Devonta Parker gets traded.
Boo, that guy.
That guy's terrible. He's not a fan. I'm not a fan of him, but I heard of a possibility of him going to Green Bay. I might like that. I have one share of him, and I got it because your cousin just threw him in as a garbage part of the trade. And I'm just holding on. But if he goes to Green Bay, I think that would help him. I've heard Philly. It'd make him a wide receiver 3 and play maybe, but that's going to be a fallout as well. So let's jump into these last couple of guys. Matt Ryan traded Indianapolis for a bag of rice and some Pokemon cards. Good for Matt Ryan, right?
I mean, maybe, but I mean, I guess. I mean, he's just going to turn around and hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor a whole bunch, I would guess. But like,
hey,
not like I've seen it. He always throws for 4,000 yards. I mean, he gets his 25, 30 touchdowns. I mean, probably. I mean,
there's 12 teams in the AFC that could win the Super Bowl. Colts are one of them. Like the NFC's terrible. AFC's so good. Like there are going to be teams getting like 9, 10, 11 picks in the draft because the AFC is so good.
And maybe the AFC is not going to be as good as we all think.
I can't see that. And along with that, Marcus Mariota, one of my dynasty stashes, is now the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons until they draft the kid out of Liberty. But
Now, the kid out of Liberty's not going to be there when they pay.
they'll trade up. But Marcus Mariota starts this year. Two things. Where does he fall? And what happened to your boy Kyle Pitts?
I mean, I feel bad for Kyle Pitts. I mean, it's not going to be fun. I mean, Mariota has never really been one to provide great air yards to
Football.
receivers a whole lot. So I don't know. It's not good. I mean, they don't have a lot of weapons. That's good. They got him and Cordero Patterson, 22 people they can really.
What about Zacchaeus? Olamide Zacchaeus?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I guess he'll catch a
Mike
couple
Davis
balls.
is still there.
I
I
guess.
almost can make it through that lab.
I mean,
Hey,
it's not. It's going to be bad. I mean,
you got a dynasty roster? You want a slot receiver way, 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 way at the end? Say you got 28 guys. Keep an eye out for Frank Darby.
I
He was
remember
the
Frank.
undrafted guy from last year. I think we both had him at some point on our team. But
I've had a lot of people. I'm sure I've had Frank Darby.
Speaking of, let's move over in Matt Ryan's old division. Tampa Bay re-signed Fournette, and Ronald Jones is now a member of the Kansas City Chiefs on a 1-year deal. Fournette got a bag of cash. I think he got 3 years, like $7 million a year, something like that. From
He's
Tampa.
27. He's what, 27? I mean, this is the magic of Tom Brady, right? Oh, I did hear a lot of rumor that Tom Brady traded to the Dolphins, right?
Yeah, I heard that too. I think that was probably a rumor about 3 weeks ago, and someone's late on it because Tom Brady is now recruiting people to Tampa. It does seem to make sense to recruit to Tampa and then want to leave.
Maybe that was the plan. Hey, I'll come back to Tampa Bay, recruit all these good players here.
That's over, and then move on.
And then you trade me to Miami, and and then then you'll have all your players back.
Yeah, so Fournette, 3 years, 21, 12 million guaranteed. So he's making 12 mil for a 27-year-old running back. That's he's pretty solid.
I feel like he's earned it over the last 2 years. I mean, he's definitely going to be the focal point of the offense once again. We know how Tom Brady likes to dink and dunk his way down the field. It might open up the door for Keyshawn Vaughn to get a little more run. Maybe it's possible. I mean, he's obviously clear number 2. I don't see him drafting another running back. I mean, Fournette can't play 100% of the.
Everybody's gonna draft another running back. I think they will, but Rojo to the Chiefs. He got a contract with incentives can be up to $5 million, so probably closer to $3 million. What does that mean? Are they gonna run more? Did they realize Clyde Edwards-Helaire isn't worth anything?
Yeah, that's what it means. I mean, it means that
Ronald Jones is terrible.
Things are cloudy for CEH. Because you're bringing. Well, we know Ronald Jones don't catch the ball. Yeah. So you're not bringing Ronald Jones in to catch the ball. So obviously bringing him in to run it, right? And I feel like he's probably a better runner than CEH at this point. I mean, I don't know. They're probably about the same. Yeah, I don't know.
But maybe they move CEH to more of the Kamara kind of role, like not to compare to, and let him catch the ball. And then
isn't that why we drafted CEH in the first place?
Mm-hmm. But maybe they thought with Kamara early, like he wasn't as strong running. Like he was a strong runner last year, but earlier years wasn't as strong. So maybe they're gonna be like, hey, let's flip this.
Catch balls, man. I mean, if they don't have all these receivers, if their receivers ain't all that great, I mean, why not utilize CEH in the passing game? If he's got these great receiving hands, like they say, coming out of college, I mean, would be the time that they could utilize that.
Yep.
I'm no coach here, so what do I know?
Yeah, we're just guys that make up stuff anyway. So, as was prognosticated by the Fantasy Couriers, Rashad Penny is back in Seattle on a 1-year deal, and the useless let's screw over Dawson Knox signing of the week. No, he sucks. OJ Howard to Buffalo. I guess they're going to try two tight end sets in December and January when it's snow everywhere to help my boy Duke Johnson take over the running back roles while in Buffalo. That's another thing. Duke Johnson to Buffalo. Yeah, Duke Johnson to Buffalo to run with the terrible Zach Moss and the underperforming Devin Simmons.
I kind of feel like they're going to be. I think they're going to draft a running back this year.
They have 3 mediocre running backs that all do the same thing. Just dumb.
Well, they all. You know what they all do? They all suck.
So much. So JJ Wang.
See, to be fair,
Singletary did so well last year.
Singletary did look decent at the end of the year.
End of the year, he looked really good.
Well, I mean, a
So
lot of players look
yeah,
good at the end of the year, and then they again suck.
Timmy
Uh,
Smith. That's the name of of our lifetime. Timmy Smith,
Good sir,
Washington
Timmy.
Redskins
Yeah,
running
yeah, that
back.
one big, what, 230 yards in the Super Bowl.
Yep, had that great run there at the end that got the bag of cash, and now he's actually in prison for selling drugs.
Well,
So
good for him.
yeah, good.
They
He
ran,
committed
maybe not so good
selling
for him.
drugs.
I don't know why I said that.
Hey, he's got 3 mils in the head over his head. After he wastes all his money. So moving on, you as being our rookie expert have some questions to pose as we finish out the day here.
Yeah, so I won't take up too much time. Free agency being over, now's the time. Everybody's going to start looking at the rookies more and more. I'm sure everybody's heard that this rookie draft is nowhere near what it's been over the last few years. I'm guessing not every draft can be as top loaded as they all can't be top loaded. There's only so many spots in the NFL for these guys to take, and if there's five good QBs coming out every year, the league can't support five. I don't know, maybe it can, but five new starting QBs every year like it did
Yeah.
last year. I mean, it's just hard.
Well, and three the year
So
before, or three or four. One,
yeah, like
two,
three or
three,
four the
four,
year
four
before.
the year before. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean, of course, you can always go back to Daniel Jones, Trubisky, and then there's like four of them in that draft. I mean, they all suck, but they're still all starting, right?
Pittsburgh starters.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
So I mean, just looking at this draft, I just want to ask. So, your initial thought: Are you buying into this draft at all, or are you trying to just get
No,
out while you can?
I've been trading out of this draft for about a year and a half, year and a half, because I've heard down rumblings that this year it sounds like, just seeing how boards are looking, this year is more of a defense heavy top draft anyway. And there's always a gaggle of wide receivers which you can get for peanuts later, and then it's gonna be some shocker receiver that comes out of nowhere and and comes in and does well. There'll be a couple of guys, but I mean, the only guy right now I'm excited for Willis. There's no way I'm going to get him, and that's only because my daughter dreams of going to Liberty, and I was there the other weekend. It's a Virginia school, but otherwise, like, I'm not excited, and I don't think it's because I haven't spent as much time looking at these guys as I do in the past, but it just seems like there's a bunch of receivers, but there's no Jamar Chase. There's no one that you go, holy cow, this guy could go top 5. No, there's a whole bunch of good running backs. Running backs don't get drafted anymore, so it doesn't matter. There's no Adrian Peterson in this draft. There's no one going there. There's no Kyle Pitts coming up. So the excitement's not there. I mean, when my Dolphins trade for picks galore, we're getting rid of our picks. What does that tell you?
Yeah, I understand, but I mean, I guess I kind of differ a little. I mean, this is probably my favorite time of the year, probably as far as fantasy football goes. I kind of like the draft. Kind of like at that point where am I trying to use my draft pick for proven players, or am I still want to involve myself in the draft? But as far as this year goes, I think we got three good solid running backs. I mean, we all know that's probably going to. There's always
Turn
like
into 7 or 8 though. You know
three or
that, right?
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Three or four that running backs, and that come in the third, fourth, even the fifth round that just come out of nowhere. Like I said, there's only so many slots. There's like six or seven, good wide receivers, and then of course, I don't know. QBs are tough. I mean, they're always just dependent on where they go. So I'm thinking Willis is going to be a lot higher by the time it comes
Oh
around
yeah,
to the
he's a
draft,
quarterback.
right?
Yeah.
So where do you see Willis going? Do you see Willis being going? Yeah, like a lot of these places have the fourth or fifth wide receiver going before Patrick Willis, Malik Willis. Do you see Willis dropping that low, or is he going to be a top 3 guy by the time draft rolls around?
From the get go, I've had Willis in Detroit.
Oh yeah,
Where's is Detroit 3?
second.
I'm gonna look up, but it just seems to be the there is not a more perfect landing place for him. He won't have to play this year because they got to pay. Detroit's 2, so
Yeah,
he they know that quarterbacks will go right now. If someone really wants him, they're gonna talk. Someone will talk to Jacksonville. Jacksonville's in the mode to trade. They're in the mood to move. I mean, Jacksonville could take that 1-1 and get the ranch. And so he might not, if he goes there, I mean, you're looking at Detroit at 2, Houston at 3. all three of those guys. And 5 is the latest he would fall. That's the Giants. 6 is the Panthers. 6 is the latest he would fall. Like
where are the Falcons picking?
the Falcons are 8. They would have to give up the farm to get up that high. So it depends upon if the Falcons say, hey, we're willing to be terrible. We didn't pay Mariota a lot. We'll waste a year of Kyle Pitts because we know tight ends get better as they get older, and we will draft well next year. And that's, if I was them, I would quietly say that I wouldn't be as dumb as the owner of the Dolphins and say, here's $100,000 for a game. But I would quietly, Philadelphia 76ers my team, and I think he goes to Detroit. That's number 2. Jacksonville, I think, will say, hey, we can't get what we want. We're going to get the best defensive player in the world, and we'll go from there.
I hear all these people say that, Willis isn't worthy of the number 2 pick, blah, 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 blah. Do we not realize that Zach Wilson went number 2 last year? Do we not realize that? I mean, are we here saying that Malik Willis is not comparable to Zach Wilson?
The word comparable doesn't make sense. I thought you said better. You mean better, right?
Better, yeah, even better. You're going to tell me there's not a chance he can be better than Trey Lance? I'm pretty sure Trey Lance went 3rd, right?
Yeah, and he's got more big time experience than Trey Lance.
He played last. I'm going to say, but at least he played his senior year. I mean, he wasn't coming in, without any games the year before. So I mean, I don't see it not possible for Willis going so high.
Yeah, I totally think that. And then now after Willis, someone's gonna Trubisky. Oh gosh, the kid out of Pittsburgh. I think he's Pickett. I think he's gonna get Trubisky. So I don't see.
I mean, think about it. Detroit's going to need a quarterback. Carolina's going to need a quarterback. New York's going to need a quarterback at some point. The Giants are going to need a quarterback. Atlanta's going to need a quarterback. Seattle's going to need a quarterback. I mean, are these guys just going to continue waiting and waiting on a quarterback? I mean, how many drafts are you going to wait for a quarterback? Because next year is going to be in the same position. There's going to be 7 or 8 teams that need quarterbacks. I mean, I feel like if you don't have a quarterback,
you take. And then if you're bad, you take again. I mean, look what Arizona did. They gave up. They got Rosen at 9, 10, somewhere in there, and then they're like, we were wrong.
Good enough. Let's just do it again.
And he was terrible. I thought that from the get-go. That was one I did get right. I get a lot wrong, but I was like,
even if these quarterbacks somehow do fall, they're not falling out of the first round because there's teams like 15 and beyond that need quarterbacks as well. Pittsburgh needs right off top. Pittsburgh needs a quarterback. Philadelphia is going to need a quarterback. Well, I don't want to say Philadelphia is going to need a quarterback, but they're going to need a quarterback.
What about? Here's one. How about Ritter? I might have to change my pick. What about Ritter to Indianapolis?
Yeah, I'd say the Colts are going to need a quarterback.
If they take him, he's not ready, but he learns from Matt freaking Ryan.
He can set. That's what I'm. So I mean, you either get your quarterback and let him set, or I just don't see how these quarterbacks drop as far as these people say they're going to drop. It's crazy. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I'm 100% with you, man. Like I think I don't think it's going to be as many, but there's going to be some somewhere. I really believe that. So,
how much time we got left? Are we almost done?
I think. Look, according to my clock, we've been talking for a long time. You let me share my love, and I thank you because I did title this episode, Adam's Dolphins love, free agency and draft strategy. So you still grab running backs. Like I think in rookie drafts, my strategy honestly is I draft a running back. And then I draft a running. I mean, if I don't need a quarterback, obviously in Superflex, but then I draft a running back, and then I draft another running back. I had a handful of Elijah Mitchells last year, which was a dumb draft pick, but it turned out to be genius.
Not mine. I mean, I thought it was a good draft pick. But
we thought Trey Sermon was going to be good. Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to be good. I mean, come on, everybody does. There's not everybody. We don't have to get all into the running back. I mean, we can continue this conversation next week. Keep rolling it over into which backs and receivers is no biggie to force it all into this one. But of course, we spent a lot of time with your, letting you get your Dolphin love. It was well deserved. I mean, you don't get to feel that way very often.
No, but really, my answer to your question is, what would I want this year? Probably lots of thirds. I'll be honest, because I told you I draft running back. And in the third rounds, I'm going to get these. Probably Dalvin Cook's little brother will fall late, second, third, depending where he falls. So, those kind of backs that. You look at it, you're like, wow, they're like third on the depth chart. And then all of a sudden, I got Amon-Ra St. Brown for peanuts last year. Now everybody wants him because he had that last good month and a half. So I should sell him if I was a smart man.
you
If
should
I didn't have a man
definitely.
crush on him, it would be selling in a minute. But
I've been
that's my
thinking.
strategy this year.
I got him. I got him in one spot, and I've been debating whether or not I should trade him or keep him because I mean he's not going to get any more. I don't see him getting any more valuable than he is right now.
Unless Malik Willis starts playing with him, and then
That
he's his
is
number one
true.
receiver. He could be Malik's number one.
But I mean,
Hawkinson, him. Oh, the
got
Lions
DJ
Super Bowl, baby.
DJ
Look at the Lions
Chark.
jersey.
DJ Chark could take away some of those deep
Well,
threats.
okay, maybe for 2 weeks. Call him the Raheem Mostert of the Lions.
Oh, yeah, maybe. He might
I don't know. He got hurt last year. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he just got hurt.
Recency bias.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's the way we live our life. But,
So you got any words of wisdom for us? You threw some sage wisdom out there. Got anything to close us out for the week as we wrap up?
like we was talking, it's not really. I kind of talk about my daughter again, if you don't mind. You said you said you had soccer starting tomorrow, right? And that's we were out there this morning. Of course, everybody probably knows it's 35 degrees this morning, and the wind was whipping.
Happy spring.
9:30 in the morning, and they got us out there watching these girls play soccer for 3 hours, dude. It was miserable. I mean, I'm usually that parent that's running up and down the sidelines,
I've seen
screaming,
it.
yelling, clapping. You know, I couldn't move, man. I mean, it was kind of depressing. Oh, I get all into it, but I mean, it's fun though. I mean, I wouldn't change.
They're worth it.
Oh yeah, they definitely were. But winter soccer is not fun, man. Heads up. That's not wisdom. Winter soccer is not fun.
Or JJ Wang, look for something called indoor soccer. My
We
sister-in-law
just got
played it when she
done.
was a little girl.
We just got done with indoor soccer. We thought it was supposed to be warm, but
Oopsie.
cold outdoor soccer is not fun. But yeah, but like I said, it's a blast. But cold soccer is not fun. But as always, trust yourself and trust the process.